Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I am talking about AEW episodes 3 and 4, and even more so, I wanted to talk about Borderlands 3. I just beat the game on my first playthrough early this morning, and I stayed up way too late because of it, and then I ended up staying up even later, working on packing up boxes and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I really like this game. I'm gonna keep on playing more, do second playthrough, do some more missions, all of that stuff, and I'm finally almost caught up to be able to do be on par with my cousins there. So I'm still super excited about the game. I don't want to spoil anything about it, but I really like the story. It had me guessing at what's going to happen next. Like every main mission had it all advanced every mission advanced the story in interesting ways. So yeah, I really recommend it. I think my favorite part, this isn't really I guess it is kind of a spoiler. There is a character voiced by Chris Hardwick, and there is a side quest. I forget which planet it's on. I think it's on Eden 6. But you go to all different planets. That's also a spoiler. So sorry about that. But you know what? I didn't think about it. I think there's only the one area that has different gravity. All the other planets, I think, all have the same gravity. I don't know. Maybe not. But anyway, there's this side mission. It's it's pretty late down the road when you can actually do it. But there is a character, so I guess it's kind of a spoiler. This character doesn't die up until this point, and not at this point either. But what is the character's name? Vaughn. Vaughn is the character, and he's voiced by Chris Hardwick. And he sends you on this mission that you end up going and playing a psychos. The bandits. There's a band of bandits, and there's one of them who runs a game show, and Vaughn hacks the system so that you can win the game show. And after one of them, I don't know if it's kind of random his responses or if it's always the same responses to the first question and the second question or whatever. But he at one point he says, "Oh, you got the question right. Points." And that made me so happy because of course anybody who's seen At Midnight, that is a reference to his time as host of At Midnight. He was the host the entire time of At Midnight, but yeah, you know what I mean. So that was my favorite part of the whole game that isn't a spoiler, and there's some other parts that I really liked that are spoilers, so I'm not going to talk about those. The crazy amount of guns. So I played as, and I'm still playing as the gunner. I forget her name. They don't say her name. They say Vault Hunter, like, for everything, which makes sense. It saves a lot of re-recording lots of dialogue. They just say, "Hey, Vault Hunter," and it applies to all 4 of the characters that you can choose from, and possibly 5 or 6 if they add more. They're going to add more characters down the line. Of course they are. They did that with Borderlands 2. Why would they not do that with 3? I should get the season pass. I have the season pass for Xbox, but I beat it on PlayStation 4. I should have just bought it on PlayStation 4 to begin with, because that was it was my first. Xbox is my digital console. I only buy, up until this point, I only buy digital games on there. Although when I first bought it, I bought Minecraft Story Mode with it and then never played it. But anyway, that's not the point. All of my games on Xbox One are digital until now, and then I ended up getting it on PlayStation 4 also anyway. So I should have just gotten it on PlayStation 4 to begin with, because the person I thought I would maybe play with on Xbox, I didn't play with them at all. So there you go. Mistakes were made, lessons learned, and just stick with my plan. Stick to the plan of uh having one console be all digital and the other console be all um physical discs. Not all physical discs. I have a bunch of digital games on PlayStation as well, and a huge hard drive on that. I don't have a huge hard drive connected to my Xbox. I just have only the best games that I will play the most often, which is mainly Forza Horizon 4, 3, 4, 4, 4, I think. Anyway, the newest one. That game's really good. Anyway, anything else about Borderlands? Guns are really cool. Oh yeah, so I'm playing as a gunner, and if you do the tree that I mostly pumped all of my points into, basically ends up giving you like infinite ammo, more or less, if you operate correctly. Basically, there's one perk at the end of that tree that you constantly regenerate. It's 5% of your magazine per second, and that works the best with large magazine weapons. At least during battle, it's the best during that. If you use it for like a low magazine count, like a 4-shot sniper rifle, something like that, you can still get that benefit of it, but you gotta like wait between shots to make sure that you don't run so that you don't run out of ammo in your magazine, and then you reload, and then you're out of that bonus, because it only regenerates your magazine. It doesn't regenerate your backpack of ammo. As far as I know, there might be additional perks or add-ons or whatever that give you infinite, basically regenerate your stuff in your backpack as well. But yeah, I also ended up, I don't know if this is always the weapon you get at when you beat the main story, basically. I got a pistol that is not as powerful as some of the other pistols I have in my inventory, but it has infinite ammo. It doesn't even show how much ammo you have for pistols. It shoots really fast. It's basically an automatic pistol, and I think you can just hold it down. I feel like I've been just holding it down, and firing with really bad aim, and it's fine because they're just firing tons of shots, and it's infinite ammo, so it doesn't even matter for that particular gun. But with all those perks, also with the critical hit regenerating ammo for a certain amount of time, that helps a lot with that as well. And yeah, you just get to a point where you got all the powers you need to really not have to be very good at the game to keep advancing. As far as in the regular mode, I'm sure Vault Hunter mode, it's got to be very hard, I'm sure. But anyway, yeah, I like it. The Iron Bear is awesome. I feel like I am not going to be able to play it as any other class, because I rely way too much on like, oh, I'm about to die, get into the Iron Bear, then I'm basically invincible while I'm in there. From how I've upgraded all my stats and all of that, abilities, the skills. That's what I meant. So yeah, Iron Bear is awesome. I just have the two mini guns because I have the perk that increases your damage if you have the same weapon applied, equipped to both hands, both arms of the robot exoskeleton thing. So yeah, I recommend that as well. Maybe it's making the game way too easy to be able to just jump into the Iron Bear and kill everything, and then it cools off, and you have like one or two guys left to pick off. But it's fun. It's fun, and that's all that really matters, I think. Okay, so those were my thoughts on Borderlands 3. Now, let's turn my attention to the last 2 weeks of AEW. These are from October 16th and October 23rd, because all the travel and everything of the week that it is gone of October 16th. I did not. I probably could have watched it, but I just wasn't. I got sidetracked by other stuff whenever I had, when I did have like TV watching time. There's a lot of driving on that trip too, but anyway, we open up the episode of AEW episode 3 with SCU being attacked by the Lucha Bros while they're coming out for their match against the Best Friends. SCU wins that match. It's Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky. I think Scorpio Sky replaced Christopher Daniels? I forget his name. The other SCU member. I don't think he was even out there with them. I'm not sure. But anyway, SCU wins that match, so they advance to the semifinals of the tag team tournament. Then we have Silver and Reynolds versus Santana and Ortiz. I'm not sure. I don't think this was a tag team tournament match, but it might have been. But anyway, Santana and Ortiz win that match. I don't really remember a lot of the specifics for all this because I watched it like all at once, and it was right after I had just watched a whole bunch of other stuff, but it was still good. So the thing is, with me, at least for right now, NXT is the clear winner for me personally. Like, I will tune into NXT, and even next week, I will be there for NXT in Orlando. I am so excited for that. And so yeah, for me personally, NXT is one, and it would basically just take NXT just not being good anymore for that to change. And even then, I probably will still stick with it because times before when it has lulled a little bit, it comes right back. It has come right back every single time to just being awesome. Like if it's kind of dragging a little bit, just wait till it'll take over and things will just be kicked right back up all of the notches. So yeah, I think it would take a lot for AEW to be my main show. I feel like right now NXT is my favorite show every week. I kind of really didn't consider it that because sometimes I just didn't feel like it was that must see week to week before they went live and went to 2 hours. Now it's so packed. It's so awesome that it's like okay. So previously 205 Live, I would say was my go-to show, like my number one show. Now it's consistently, it goes NXT, 205 Live right behind that. Both of them are very awesome. And then Raw and SmackDown somewhere down below that. And AEW down around those as well. Not due to the quality of the wrestling or anything like that. It's just I'm not as excited or as into it as I am with NXT and 205 Live. So yeah, so that's just my personal preference. And I might, or I haven't decided yet. I think next week is going to have some pretty interesting matches. So I probably will check it out. I'll keep on checking it out if I can. At the very least, I'll check out highlights. But anyway, we then had Britt Baker versus Riho. This was a championship match, and Riho won to successfully defend her championship. Then we had Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy versus the Lucha Bros. This was a tournament match, and the Lucha Bros won. So Marco, he wasn't originally going to be in this match. It was going to be Luchasaurus, but he had some kind of injury, and so Marco stepped in and was a lot of fun to watch. Jungle Boy is always a lot of fun to watch too. Okay, so I'd say my favorite people, the whole reason I've watched any New Japan or All Elite Wrestling now, or All Out last year, which was before All Elite Wrestling existed. Like most of my interest was for watching Kenny Omega matches. So of course he is still like one of my top, if not my top, I'd say he's my top interest in AEW. But there are a few who are growing on me more and more, and obviously if you go online, you see most of these guys are also gaining quite the support outside of the pre All Elite hype. These guys are the ones who are gaining the hype here now that they are on. They're gaining the hype after coming to AEW, as opposed to having the hype and then coming over, if that makes sense. So some of these guys, of course, Jungle Express, Marco Stunt, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus, they are so much fun to watch. My other top interests would be obviously Kenny Omega, yes. I am very interested in all of Pac's matches, and a little bit of Moxley. I'd say he's approaching being up there for me. And then Darby Allin. He's just so entertaining to watch. He does so much crazy stuff, and yeah. So I'd say those all are the people who've really grown. MJF is growing on me too. So yeah, there you go. There you have it. We had speaking of Pac and Moxley and Pac teamed up to fight Adam Page and Kenny Omega. Moxley at one point gets upset and just leaving Pac to fight the other two on his own. But Pac ends up did he end up winning? I circled it, but I'm not sure if that makes sense. I don't know. Maybe he'll make. I don't remember, but it was a good match. I'd say that was my favorite match of this episode. And then we had Darby Allin. Well, maybe this match was really good too. Darby Allin versus Chris Jericho for the heavyweight championship in a street fight. I think it was a street. Yeah, it was. No, was it? Yes, it was, because I was thinking when I think a kendo stick was used, and Aubrey, the referee, she was unfettered by the use of kendo sticks. And I thought, why are they allowed to use that? And then when they started bringing out the chairs and stuff, I was like, oh, right, this is a street fight. They can do all that stuff. So anyway, this match was very good. I enjoyed it. Darby Allin doing some incredible things. There's a whole section of the match when his hands were binded together with duct tape. And so he did all kinds of jumps and flips and dives without the use of his arms, which is pretty remarkable. So kudos, all the kudos to Darby Allin for doing all that crazy stuff. But Chris Jericho did win, and because Jake Hager came out and attacked Darby, which was, whether or not the referee saw it, it was legal because it's a street fight. There's no disqualifications and stuff like that. So, that got Jericho the upper hand, and he, I think he won with the Walls of Jericho, something like that. So yeah, a pretty great main event. Also so the night before AEW Dark episode 2, I only watched the main event of that episode, which was Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela, and that is super, super good. So go check that out. And so this week on the 23rd, they had a follow up to that with Omega versus Janela in just a regular match, because I think their dark match was a street fight or something like that, or just a hardcore match, whatever it was. They were able to use all kinds of weapons and stuff. It was great. But anyway, in episode 4, which aired on October 23rd, we opened up with Private Party versus Lucha Bros, another tournament match, which Lucha Bros won. And then we had the Dark Order versus SCU, which SCU won. And so the finals match to crown the first ever AEW Tag Team Champions will be next week, and it will be between Lucha Bros, Rey Fenix, and Pentagon Junior. Is it Pentagon Junior? Yes, I think so. Versus SCU, Scorpio Sky, and Frankie Kazarian, I believe, still. Yeah, that will be a pretty killer match. I'm excited for that. One of the things I wanted to talk about with the tag team wrestling on AEW, there were a couple of matches in week 3 that I was just kind of baffled by, as far as if they follow tagging rules. And I was kind of in that mindset as this more recent episode happens, and they tightened down. Or maybe I just wasn't paying attention well enough the week before, but they were utilizing the tag team rules, actually because there were a lot of sequences the previous week that I just lost track of who was actually legal, and it felt like the people who were in the ring to finish, like both of the people at a couple of points, it felt like they were not the legal competitors in the match at that point, and didn't seem like it was being addressed or anything like that. But in fairness, the following week, it seemed that the rules were abided by much more closely, and there was even a lot of time on commentary spent on talking about the differences between the tag team rules here and the tag team rules that especially the Lucha Bros would be more used to in promotions down in Mexico and stuff. You know, all the lucha style tag team rules, which is really like kind of like, from what I understand, it's you can swap in just by like rolling out of the ring, and even that is pretty loose, I think. So more like a tornado tag team match, but with it seems sort of like a gentleman's agreement to what was I trying to say? To honor the spirit of the tag team thing, not just to have like 2-on-1 for like 5 minutes at a time, something like that. That there is like that intent of keeping it as tagging in and out in some fashion. But anyway, so yeah, Dark Order versus SCU won. Yeah, I already said all of that. We had Kenny Omega versus Janela, a sequel to that dark match the previous week. And Kenny Omega won that match via One Wing Angel. I believe he won the match on AEW Dark as well. If he didn't, I'd be really surprised. So yeah, that's a good one to check out. We had Cody and the rest of the Inner Circle go up through the audience to go to their private club level seats, their private box, whatever it is. They're there watching the rest of the show and causing some problems and stuff until later on. Let's see. I like kind of summarized everything for the rest of the show in like 4 words. I'll get back to that. No, I'll get to that now. Cody and he comes out and is talking. I honestly kind of skipped a lot of this, and just caught up when they ended up going upstairs and then picking a fight with the Inner Circle, and they brawl in like the concessions area and all that kind of stuff. And then Jericho, for some reason, was sticking his ticket to to his forehead, like licking it and sticking it to a I don't understand what the intention there was. Like, I don't I don't know. I don't I really don't know. I didn't see anybody talking about it. It seemed like something that was done that I was trying to get people to be like, "Oh yeah, he's got the ticket on his forehead. That's the thing." Now that kind of thing. I didn't see anybody talking about it at all. So I really don't know. I don't know what to think about that. So moving on, Cody, Dustin, MJF, and DDP go after the inner circle, and so that brawl ensues, and that's kind of fun. The best friends and Orange Cassidy, they come out. Orange Cassidy is not in the match, but he's there at ringside with the best friends to fight the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks win, and they accept the challenge issued by Santana and Ortiz the week before. So they will face each other at Full Gear. So that should be a pretty good one. Then we had Jamie Hayter versus Britt Baker. Britt won that match via lockjaw. A little bit of a bummer to not have any Riho on this episode, but and maybe she was in one of the dark matches or something, like a tag team match of some fashion. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see in next week's I'm sure somebody posted what all of those matches actually were. And then we had the main event of Moxley versus Pac. And unfortunately, I did get this spoiled that it was going to end in a draw. So that kind of took away a lot of the suspense of who was going to win or not. And so yeah, the only problem I have with it is that I didn't get to watch it before it was spoiled for me. Like it does, in my opinion, and this is something I mostly agrees with some stuff that I read from other discussions and all of that, is that if you have a time limit, then the time and if you have the time limit and nobody ever exceeds it, then why is there's no point in even having the time limit, right? So since they do have the time limit and they make a point of like saying throughout, having warnings throughout the match, how much time is remaining, all that kind of thing, then it's got to make sense that some matches are gonna end in a time in a draw because of running out of time, a time limit draw. That's what I was trying to think of. So yeah, I don't know if I would have seen that coming during the actual show if I was watching it live. I think I would have been pretty into the match, a lot more into the match than I actually was, because I did have that in the back of my head. Okay, this is going to end in probably like 3 minutes, and now in like 2 minutes it's probably going to end, and that's it. So I forget what I lost my train of thought there. Time limit draws, I think, yes, they've got to happen, otherwise why even have the time limits? So that's what I think about it. So was that everything? Yeah, I think that was everything. Another game I really want to recommend, because I played it a whole bunch at my sister's with my nephew and my brother-in-law. We played this game called Lunacy. It is what is the name of the company? It's the company that makes Flex and all of that, all those types of games. But the game is called Lunacy. It's a matching game. It goes really it's like really easy, simple to learn. But we had a game that ended up like having to reshuffle the entire deck, like at least two times. I think it was just the two times, but that's a lot of it's a lot of fun, and I recommend it. So Yeah, I think that about does it. I figure I'd make this episode pretty long, and I still have to watch SmackDown from tonight because I have some extra space. I cleared up some space so that I could post the new comics episode. Hopefully, I'll check that out. I think I got it posted. Pretty sure I did. So yeah, we're nearing the end of October. So what's coming up? What's coming up next will be this week's SmackDown episode. Then I might do a separate episode talking about all the fun stuff I have planned for Saturday, which includes Comic Book Day, like the Halloween Fest deal at my local comic book shop, Hall of Justice collectibles. Hall of Justice. What is the? It's Hall of Justice collectibles and just collect. I don't know. In Parker. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. And then I'm heading downtown to see Doug Benson and a special Halloween episode of I Love Movies, or I Love Scary Movies is this episode that they're gonna do. And then head over to Lucha Libre and Laughs to see Shotzi Blackheart's final match with Lucha Libre and Laughs against Anaya, the LLL champion, which I think very much. Well, that would be pretty cool if she won it and then vacated it immediately. I would really dig that because everybody's expecting her just to lose because she's going to NXT. So this is the last show that she can do. But if she won and then vacated the title, that could be interesting. I don't know. I don't follow month to month. I only know as much as what happened this last month at Lucha Libre Laughs. So anyway, I may do an episode about that, especially if I go see like a movie afterwards, or I am going to see the new One Piece movie. I forget the name of it. It's like One Piece Dagwood or something like that. It's not called that. Why? I'm going to look up what it's called. But I'll definitely do an episode. Well, although if it's snowing a whole lot, then I might not go. But anyway, it is called One Piece Stampede. Why did I call it Dagwood? I got the number of syllables right. That's worth something. That's not worth anything. So yeah, all that coming up, and then of course this week's Monday Night Raw, and then I'm seeing Lucia, Cirque du Soleil in the theaters, and then headed out to Florida to see NXT live in person next Wednesday. So stay tuned for all of that. We're going to talk about it all here on TIW Podcast. Let me know what you thought about this episode and any episode really. By tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. Stay safe out there in all of the infinite multiverses, and I'll see you next time here on TIW Podcast. Bye.